Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Friday forecast with the LFC Daytrippers. I am Gav, and with me this evening, I have Gar. I have the host of Canage and the ultra professional Grizz Can, and I have Joe Wayman from All Leeds TV. He's a regular on a Friday night. The viewers insist on it, and we insist on it too. So, luckily enough, Joe says yes to us on a Friday, or we'd upset a lot of people. Lads, coming up this tonight. Most people know how it works by now. We preview the weekend's Premier League games. Of course, 2 games have already happened. Brighton 0, Burnley 0, and Southampton had a good win 2-0 against Newcastle at St Mary's. So we have 8 games to look at. We're going to pick out 3 to look at in detail, and the other 5 we're going to just give you some predictions on. And of course, the lads have to pick 3 anytime goal scorers over the weekend. It's an interesting weekend of fixtures for different reasons, but I'm going to start with Everton against Manchester United. You know, Everton had a brilliant start to the season. I think they had 4 wins in a row. Then they drew with us, and then they've lost the last 2. Of course, United is all over the shop. Talks about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, players he's picking, players he's not picking, stuff like that. It's all going on at Old Trafford at the moment, which it usually has done for the past, I don't know, since Ferguson left about 7 years ago. Gar, I'm going to come to you first because Everton had a really good start to the season, and you know I was impressed with the signings they made. I'm going to be honest with you, in Alan, James Rodriguez, Dick Horry from Watford, and of course Ben Godfrey brought in from Norwich as well as a centre half. But I was always worried about if they're missing a couple of players, who have they got in reserve, and I think it's shown over the last couple of games that they struggle a bit. Ancelotti's changed a couple of formations to try fit different players in and trying to eke out results, but where do you see them now, Gar? Because you know they're still in the top 4. They'll start getting players back now. Any day now they'll start getting players back. Where do you see Everton? Because I think this is a huge game for them this weekend.
Yeah, really, really big, and obviously, I suppose all the build-up has been about Ollie's job and Pochettino's hair on Monday night, which is absolutely gorgeous, by the way. But seriously, getting back to it, all this. You know, as you've just touched on, Everton they missed a bit of creativity when James was out injured. We could see that straight away. Calvert-Lewin has been excellent, to be fair. He's been doing things in around the box rather than running around like a Shane Long type of centre forward, just running all over the shop. He's really improved his game. But I think with James back tomorrow, as far as you know, so I see, you know, it's a bit more of a stern test for United. Judging United, lads, I think Ollie tends to get a result when he really, really needs one. When there's been a little link to his job going, I just have a feeling they might sneak one this weekend. You know, they might be fired up for it. You've got all his ex-buddies coming out in huge support of him. Souness today, I read, is now blaming the players, not the manager, which is ridiculous, really, because as a coach, you can see clearly. There's no structure to them. The other night was a big telltale in their defensive play. It was awful to watch. But I've just a feeling this is the one where he gets a result, Gav, just to save his skin.
He might do. He might, and you're right. He does seem to get a result, and it hangs him on for another month, and then the back end of the month goes poorly, and then it's is he going? And then they get another result, and it has happened like that. Grizz. You know, Mauricio Pochettino turns up on Monday Night Football, and when you turn up on Monday Night Football, you're looking for a job. It's as simple as that. It is. It's as simple as that. You turn up on Monday Night Football after being out of work for so long, you're looking for a job. Or you're putting yourself out there, you know, and you're letting people know I'm back. You know, Mauricio Pochettino has kept a very low profile, Grizz, since he's left Spurs. I don't know whether they were still paying him, and there was a certain amount of months he couldn't take a job. There could have been something in a contract there. But, you know, when you look at what he's there on Monday night, and just giving, there's more to him just giving analysis. You know, it's the appearance. But then you look at PSG and you think, are they going to just cut the legs out from under Tuchel now and go for Pochettino? It seems to be between both of them. But these clubs, Grizz, do they not interest you? Because, you know, we've seen United go with a quick fix in Mourinho. It didn't work. They're trying to do this project team with Solskjaer. It doesn't look like it's working. Pochettino could be somewhere in between. Whereas you look at Everton, who've tried project, hasn't worked, and gone now with quick fix, and it looks like they might work. They're not similar in the way they've done things, but it's kind of, they're kind of following each other, if you know what I mean, Grizz. And one looks like it's starting to materialise for Everton, and United are just going around in circles, day after day, month after month. It's ridiculous at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you ask most of the Man United fan base, would they like Ancelotti in charge of them? Oh my God, they bite your hand off, for Ancelotti. Ancelotti is the best thing going for Everton. I'm afraid it is. It's literally the best thing because of Ancelotti. They've got all those players in. Otherwise, I mean, you're looking at Iwobi's going to Everton. Otherwise, do you know what I mean? So look, Everton have got a great manager, but we always said once they pick up a few injuries, their squad will be tested. They won't look as good as and tasty as they have done in the opening 6 games. And lo and behold, last couple of games they've been out without Gomez, without Alan, without Rodriguez. Dropped the keeper. Apparently he's coming back in tomorrow, which indicates Man United might sneak a win. Man United have to make a decision now, Gav. And even though I think, even though the PSG job will be tempting, I don't think Pochettino will want to go France. I just don't think he's gonna. It's gonna be his sort of up his street, the French league. I think you could see the passion in him. You could see the way he analysed the game on Monday Night Football. He wants to come back to the Premier League. Man United need a world-class manager. At the end of the day, they're a massive institution that are just a shambles at the moment. And as fun as it is for us, Pochettino would be a problem at Man United, and to replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So they've got a decision to make very soon. I don't think they'll make it. I think, as Gar says, I think they'll sneak a win tomorrow. They've got this sequence of sort of a set way of getting results where they win 3, lose 1, and then win another 2 again. So I think the fact that it's at home, is it at Old Trafford tomorrow?
No, it's at Goodison Park.
No, it's good, is it?
Is it Goodison Park?
It is, yeah.
Then I'll think I'm going to go for a draw. I think.
Well, I'll get your prediction in a minute.
Oh, is that not part of now? Sorry, I've not been on the show.
I'll come to you all at the end.
Yeah.
And I'll ask you your predictions if that's all right with you.
No, that's all right. That's all right. No, I'll take back my prediction and I might change it now.
Of course you will. Well, once I give you 5 minutes, the prediction can change 2 to 3 times. Joe, listen, I'm not going to get any sympathy from Manchester United from you. I know that, but I don't like Manchester United. I don't like Everton. But they interest me, and it's the reason they interests me is because just the way they try to do things, and it usually born out of the experience I've had as a Liverpool fan, watching what's gone on at Liverpool and trying to see if that's reflecting, when it comes to Everton and it comes to United. And a lot of it does, I'm going to be honest with you. But as a Leeds fan looking in at this, because, we all know Leeds were out of the Premier League for a long time. You were concentrating on what you were doing. But, Everton will always garner an interest from Liverpool fans, and United garner interest from anyone, the same way Liverpool do. But when you look at what's going on there, does it seem like I've seen Leeds in a mess, and we've spoken about this before, Joe? Owners, managers, players all over the shop, and then you got somebody and you said, right, that's the plan, and we're going with it. Does United strike you as something similar? No, I'm not saying on the same scale, but similar to what Leeds were doing, where is he the right manager? Oh, geez, the players he's bringing in, is he being backed? It's just question after question after question. And as much as, no matter who you bring in, I think a lot of the questions at United aren't based around the manager. It's based around the club as a whole. Is that something you see it as?
I don't know if you can compare it with what went on at Leeds United. I mean, we had terrible owner after terrible owner. It was an absolute shit show, if I'm being totally honest. So regardless of who was in charge, it didn't matter. But look, I'm gutted, but I think Ollie loses his job this weekend. It's the perfect time for Man United to bring Poch in. We've got a couple of weeks off. International break. It's the perfect time. He shows up on Monday Night Football. He's coming out in the press. Well, Everton have only lost once at home since November last year, and that was in the last game of the season against Bournemouth. Dead rubber. No one interested. I think James Rodriguez back in the side. Dominic Calvert-Lewin will be licking his lips against that defence. I think midweek that's probably one of the worst defensive displays at that level ever. Like, it was shocking. And I
couldn't,
think,
Joe, I couldn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't watching the game, right? I know what you're going to say, but I will have to tell you this. I wasn't watching the game, and it was actually one of the lads in our WhatsApp group just sent us a still photo, right? Of I couldn't even see the ball. All I could see was a player standing on his own in the centre circle, and they're going, what sort of defending is that? And then I'm looking for the ball down the other end of the pitch going, oh, but they look like they're fairly organised. And then when I seen the clip, I was like, no, they're actually shooting the other fucking way. And it's just one ball from the left back, and this fella is just running not from the halfway line, from inside the centre circle of his own half, through on goal. And I'm going,
and
what?
I think,
This is mad.
Do you know what? I think for Ollie as well, even a win or a draw is not enough. If they do win and he wants to save his job, he's got to batter them 3 or 4-0 and play really, really well for me. I just think, look, you've mentioned PSG there. If Man United don't go now, when will they go? Like, if I'm the hierarchy, and I know that, I hope he stays in the job. But I just think Poch's there. We've got 2 weeks off. You know, he could go out, but it's same old. You know, I heard them speaking about a 90-minute. As a Man United fan, it must be so frustrating. I'm reveling in it, but it's the same cycle every single time. We as opposing fans can see it. Them as fans of their own clubs can see it. So for me, it's perfect time. They'll lose. I think they'll lose against Everton. They will. James Rodriguez being back into a massive shout, and the fact that the home record's as good as it is. I think they beat Man United, and I think he's gone, and then we'll see Poch in pretty pronto, if I'm being honest. And I'm gutted because he'll start to get a tune out of them, because individually they've got some cracking players. I mean, going forward,
because he's a top coach, Joe. That's what top
this
coaches
is the thing.
do. Top coaches like Bielsa, like Klopp, like Pochettino, coach players so the players get better, and that's what the United players haven't had. They haven't had any coaching for 2 years, and as you say, they're all great players. On the if you individually analyze them, fucking hell, Rashford's a player, Martial's a player, Bruno, Pogba. You're talking about top class players here, but there's no coaching. It's like it's like sending out your Sunday league team. It's like how I used to send out my Sunday league team. I used to say, right, lads. Hold
on. Whoa. Stop.
Well, let me finish.
Hold on. Before you go on and tell us about your Sunday League managerial career, is this a new revelation now? Is this another string to your bow?
Barking and District League, Division 1, just below Premier League. Yeah. The team name was El Nino, because obviously those days Torres was at Liverpool, so I named him after Torres.
Okay.
As you do. And we were very good. Absolutely.
Did you win it?
Good. No, that's not the point. It's taking part that counts.
That's why you haven't mentioned it, because it's not part of the medal hall.
Every Sunday we used to turn up, and I used to tell these players, go out there and show me what I've seen on, like, when I've been scouting you in 5-side pitches, right? All around up and down the country. And that's what Solskjaer seems to be doing. He seems to be telling him to go out there and do what you guys are famous for doing, the prick.
All right, yeah. Grace driving around the country, just loitering around Astros.
Do you think have a discussion about that sometimes?
Do you think he's lost the players a little bit, though, with that defensive display? Because a professional footballer should not, that's still there's a still of where there's 3 Man United players and then a player on his own. Like, they know how to defend, regardless of how
defend, Joe. Joe, not even defend. Professional players know where to stand.
Exactly.
So for that goal, you're on the attack, right? And I've only seen the goal. I haven't watched anything else. So when I looked at this, I went, United must have had a free kick or a corner kick around that time, and it's broken out and it's dropped to the left back, and he's launched up the pitch, and then Babard is in. But even if they have a corner or a free kick deep in the opposition's half, like, I know from playing football, right, that one of the first things or the last things you're told when you go out on the pitch is you're going up for corners. And listen, when you go up for corners, A, B, and C stay back, or A and B stay back, and the other fella, that's one of the biggest things even in amateur football. Organised, even when you have a corner, so you don't get caught on the break, stay back. But when you look at it, Nemanja Matic is standing in the middle of midfield like he's playing holding midfield, and the rest of his side are ahead of him. It's criminal.
I'm looking at the still. I'm looking at the still of it now, Gav. Right, and Matic is obviously shouting because your man's just received the ball in the penalty box. Matic is shouting. You can see him pointing his finger somewhere. I don't know what's going on here, by the way, because you usually stick, if your keeper plays high, he'll come up and play near the halfway line and you'll stick one. That's but I haven't heard the keeper being blamed much in this either, by the way.
Well,
he has a big part to play in this, Gav, because his communication is purely at fault here, because he needs to be screaming at his centre halves or at the full back or whoever stayed back.
Who was the goalkeeper?
It was the keeper was Henderson. Matic is back, and I think it's Timothy Fonsu Mensah is playing beside him. But if you actually watch when the ball hits the net, right, the keeper is straight up to Matic, and he's straight, and Mensah is turning. I think it's Mensah turning straight to Matic. You have to go, what the fuck is going on? You know what I mean? So there's obviously something's gone on there, but it's exactly why United are where they are. Before we get to predictions, the Pochettino thing is interesting. Grizz calls him top coach. I don't know if you can go that far yet. I'm going to be honest with you. I think he do. Don't get me wrong. He could go to United and prove what he is, and then be considered the top coach. He's very, very good in my opinion. There's a couple of things around him. Should United go for him? Yes. Should he consider Manchester United? Yes. He's managed Spurs and he's managed Southampton. They're not on the level of Manchester United, but I think he has, despite him being quite humble in what he says, I think there's a bit of an arrogance to Pochettino, which you need as a manager of Manchester United. So that's okay. My only worry would be the owners. And the only thing that will put, for me, Pochettino off is it's a massive club. It's one of the biggest in the world still. It has brilliant spending power, great infrastructure, all that sort of stuff. But surely somewhere he's looking going, when Ferdinand, Gary Neville, everybody's giving out about the hierarchy. Everyone's giving out about the transfer planning, all sorts of stuff. That might turn him off. People will be worried. I'm going to be honest. I've said if Pochettino went to a PSG or whoever, and in 3 or 4 years' time, Klopp left Liverpool, I'd love Pochettino to be in the argument. That argument has gone out the window if he takes over at Manchester United. Even if he only lasts 18 months and then moves on to PSG, he'll never get the Liverpool job after managing Manchester United. But we'll have to wait and see. I think the Solskjaer thing is just mad. You're talking about organisation and stuff like that. He's not organising them, lads. He's putting them on the pitch and he's putting them in positions and hoping it works. Yeah. And I have a little feeling that there was a bit of a power play with Pogba and Solskjaer at one stage, and it was like they're going to get rid of Pogba to show Solskjaer as the boss. Pogba's gone nowhere. I think he may have signed or is on the verge of signing a new deal. And when you look at Donny van der Beek, who signed as their record, is it their record transfer this summer? Or their marquee signing, as we call it, and he can't get a sniff. I think there's a lot of players at Manchester United that have more influence over that team than people think, and I think Solskjaer is just a yes man, and that's why I think you're not seeing Donny van der Beek and things like that.
Gav, Van der Beek is a smashing talent.
He's a brilliant footballer.
He's a smashing player. There's the type of player who could have gone to Barcelona and walked into that midfield at the moment. He is a proper footballer, and what United are doing to him is a fucking disgrace, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Just before we get predictions, Kazim says, I can imagine Grizz on the sidelines smoking a cigar, screaming at his players to press and push. What was your managerial style, Grizz? Was it a suit or tracksuit? What was it?
It depended on the weather.
Okay. So I'll give you a scenario. Sunday morning in March, crisp, dry, a little bit cold. Would it be a suit with an over jacket?
Nah. In March it'd probably be cold, raining, wet. I'd probably send my assistant and have a lay-in.
Okay, nice one. Just watch a few football videos. Spotting talent.
Look, I've done all the training and coaching during the week. Yeah. Right, come Sunday morning, 8 o'clock when you got to get up. And everyone's heard of Hackney Marshes probably because that's where our ground used to be, Hackney Marshes. I'm not turning up
our ground
Marshes in mud.
When I say Marshes ground, is just loads of pitches.
When I say you get the picture, right? Like we called it our home ground, innit? Because like pride and all
okay,
that. Yeah, it's amazing. But if it was like snowing and wet and windy, I wouldn't turn up.
No, fair enough. And listen, you're very right too. If that's your management style, that's absolutely fine. How you're not still a manager today is beyond me, though. Considering that's the sort of that's the sort of dedication you're willing to put into the job. Lads, predictions for this one. I think it's a massive game for both. I really do, for varying reasons. Joe obviously feels a matter, regardless, unless United bash them. This whole char's gone. But Joe, I'll go to you. What's your prediction for this one?
2-1 Everton. 2-1 Everton.
Gar, what about you?
I'd say at the start, I think Ollie gets his result 3-2 United.
Okay. And Grizz, are you sticking with a draw?
Yeah, I'm going to go in the middle then. But Joe's got a fucking cracking record, man, with his predictions. I've been noticing your prediction, pal.
Oh, really?
I'm watching
back?
Yeah, man. I've been watching. I'm an analyst, mate, and I've been analysing you. You've been spot on quite a bit. So, but I'm going to go with 2-2.
Okay.
Bang in the middle.
All the false love for Joe, and then just sticking your 2-2 at the end. No matter how good Joe is, I'm just sticking to be 2-2. Fuck him.
Oh yeah. Fuck Joe.
Brilliant. Can you imagine playing for him? Oh, son, you were great last week. You scored a hat trick, but I'm going to put you on the bench today.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, it's for me. It's a huge game. I think Everton have a lot of players back. I think it's only Richarlison serving the last of his 3-match ban that's out. I think James Rodriguez is back, which would be big for them. They look like they have a couple of players back. United, you don't know what way they're going to turn up, but I'm going to go. I think it's a 1-1 draw for me. I think they'll both come over, and it'll be a bit meh. But yeah, I go 1-1. Dan J has 3-1 to Manchester United. Johnny has 2-2. So does Kev O'Sullivan 2-2. Rajiv says 2-1 to United. Olivier has 4-1 to United. There's a couple going in there as well. Ian Francis has 3-1 to I think he said 3-1 to Everton. I'm going to move on. Couple of quick predictions, lads, for different games. Okay, so Chelsea against Sheffield United. Gar, I just want a quick prediction for that one.
Chelsea 4-1.
Grizz, Chelsea, Sheffield United.
Routine 2-0 for Chelsea.
Joe?
1-0 Chelsea.
I'm going to go 3-2 Chelsea. I'm going to go 3-2. I think Brewster gets his first goal for Sheffield United this weekend. And the second one, quick prediction.
By the way, you're the opposite of Joe. When it comes
I'm terrible. I'm
you're
absolutely appalling. Oh, hold on though. I did do a pre-match show against Atalanta and I predicted 5-2. I did say Liverpool would score 5. If you remember right, I said we go in heavy on Atalanta, and despite everyone telling me Atalanta were deadly, they weren't. And Liverpool did score 5 and could have possibly conceded 2. But I thought I'd done well there, and that's me claim to fame. I'm gonna have that put on a plaque because the rest of them are fucking atrocious. If I bet on something, do the opposite. Like I tell lads every week, United are winning this, lads, and I do it because I know if I say it, they lose. So I don't know what to do tomorrow. West Ham against Fulham. Fulham got a win, didn't they, against West Brom last weekend? West Ham beaten by Liverpool last weekend, but are being decent. Joe, give us your prediction for this one.
2-0 West Ham.
Cool.
That was my one.
Oh, Grizz has gone 2-0 as well, Grizz?
Yeah, I was going to go 2-0.
Okay.
As well.
And Gar?
I can't join the lads. I think Fulham are brutal at the moment. I think West Ham beat them 3-0.
Okay. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for Fulham. Yep. I think I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for Fulham. So get your house on West Ham, but -2 and keep a clean sheet. Going to move on, lads. And, Joe, going to touch on Leeds because it was a heavy defeat at home to Leicester earlier on in the week. It was one that surprised me when I looked at Leeds' lineup and I looked at Leicester's lineup. Probably because I haven't seen a lot of Leicester. I'm being honest, a couple of names jumped out at me. I went, what, who? And where's X, Y, and Z? But listen, they ran out 4-1 winners. Bit of a wake-up call, Joe?
Listen, I mean, we had all 3 new signings out. Rodrigo's got COVID, massive loss. Pablo Hernandez, 35 now, looked a bit off it against Liverpool, got injured. I don't know if he's quite at the pace he once was in the Championship. I'm not sure. So Rodrigo was a massive loss. Rafinha, not in, obviously, Rente missing as well, and Calvin. So we had some key personnel missing, but I just think, I said it before the game, Leicester are the perfect foil for Leeds United's style of play in that we play such a high line. All it takes.
You did say this last week, yeah.
Yeah, it got to Fuchs and Fuchs just hit it straight in the channel, Barnes and Vardy onto it. And the pit, I know it's same for both teams, but the surface didn't help. You know, we were giving sloppy passes where normally they're nice and crisp, and I think the pitch played a part. We made a few errors, but Bamford scores in the first minute instead of hitting it straight at Schmeichel. It's a different game, you know. We brought it back to 2-1, and then Pablo Hernandez hits the crossbar right in the, if that's 2-2, we may go on to win the game. You know, the scoreline flattered them, although they deserved it. But it's that style of play. We struggled against Wolves. They sit in. They came at us the second half. We struggled against Leicester on the counter, and I think Palace, as poor as they are, it's going to be difficult for Leeds because it's 4-4-2. They're going to sit in. We're going to struggle to break them down and know that if we do make errors, that Zaha, Schlupp, Townsend, boom, they'll be away. And because of that, such a high defensive line, they can get in, you know. It's the style of play that... So I'm not worried. No, it's not a wake-up call. It's the style of play. If we were getting that off other teams like Villas, etc., it's the style of play is the perfect kryptonite for what Bielsa plays. And when you've got Vardy and Harvey Barnes as good as they are, you know, you're always going to struggle. And we gifted them opportunities as well. And obviously bringing on Maddison, special talent, he just grabbed it by its scruff at neck and they were outside.
Maybe not a wake-up call, Joe, but one where you go, like, you know, Zed says there, Leeds are rock and roll football. Great to watch. However, they must sort that defence out or they can see bags of goals. Maybe not a wake-up call, Joe, but maybe something where you go, we need a touch of pragmatism here. We need... don't get me wrong, I've great respect for Bielsa and what he's trying to do and his belief in what he's doing. But I'll take you back to Norwich last year. And Norwich were given loads of plaudits for the type of football they played. And they shouldn't have got those plaudits because the naivety in Norwich was absolutely astounding to watch. Astounding to watch. As a team that's come up and trying to play this brand of football, which is absolutely fine, but play in the right areas. And they got torn asunder as the season went on. Could it be a case where Bielsa looks now and says, listen, we're not going to go out and push that high because look at what we can have done against us. We're going to drop 10 yards. We're going to press. We're going to let them come on to us a little bit more before we press. You know, simple things like that just makes it a bit more pragmatic, but a bit more effective, and leaves you less open at the back.
Nah, he won't do it, Gav. He won't. He just won't change, mate. He never has. Never will.
I knew that answer. Yeah, my love. I knew that, my love.
Okay, so he won't change. Are you worried that as the season goes on and more people see Leeds and see what they can do? Because let's be honest, Harvey Barnes is a very good player. Jamie Vardy is a very good player. But there's loads of them in the league, Joe. There's loads of them in the league that can hurt you from wide, hurt you down channels and hurt you over the top. You know, there's loads of speed merchants in this league that can hurt you badly if they have the quality to give it to them and you're going to give them the space to do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think many teams will set up like they have. You know, Chelsea can't be setting up like that. You know, Man United maybe, I don't know, Rashford, etc. I don't know. Genuine. I think the personnel that he picked didn't help. In the second half against Villa, Click played in the deeper role and it worked really well. So he went with that same lineup. It didn't work. You know, Click being so deep didn't work. Shackleton didn't really work. So I think he'll go back to the 4-1-4-1 and we'll see a little bit more. It'll just be better from a defensive standpoint, you know, and you get so much more from Click a little bit further up. Look, I'm not worried. I genuinely not. And it's not arrogance or anything like that. We will be going on. We might concede, but we're at peace with that. I'm at peace with it anyway, you know. I know that will cause a lot more problems than teams will cause us problems over the course of a season. Okay. Am I top 4 hopes now over? Possibly, but we'll still get top 6.
Okay, but that's
Joe. Do you know where I think that weakness is Meslier? I just think he is an awful keeper. Do you know that?
Really?
Yeah, I don't rate him at all. I think he's too fragile looking. He looks. Do you know? He looks to me like De Gea when he first came to the Premiership. He purely needs to bulk up. He doesn't look great on crosses, and I have to say, a lead side without Calvin Phillips, who makes everything tick in that midfield, is a huge difference. He is a quality player. Me and Graves have often spoken about him last year amongst the group, and he makes that side tick in the way Bielsa wants to play. He is a quality player.
Olivier says Bielsa is a genius. He cut off his own ear before he changes anything. But we don't want him to go that far. You know, all we're asking is maybe drop 10 yards. Don't be going cutting off limbs.
Joe, I'm with Joe in terms of nothing to worry about. I think Leicester are, a very good team. I know Gav has his views on Brendan Rodgers, but I think he's a very good coach, and he's a fantastic coach in terms of how his teams play. And Joe's right. Leeds will struggle against teams that set up defensively, but with the footballing principles, if you know what I mean by that. In terms of if you can beat Leeds press, then you can get through to them. And Brendan Rodgers has got players that are capable of beating the press. They're footballing players. Leeds will smash teams that don't know how to beat that press and just lump merchants, because they'll out football you. Even Leeds will out football you. So that's why they'll do overall very well in this league. But there's absolutely no shame to the teams that they've lost to. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the way he plays. It's been a breath of fresh air. The way they attack, he won't change. He won't. Yeah, I was going to say breath. I was going to say fresh of breath air.
Of course you were. I was waiting.
Do you know what, though, boys? We have played Liverpool, City, Wolves, and Leicester. That will all be
absolutely
in or around them European places.
And that's what I mean, Joe. All those teams, right, have got technical players that can beat your press, and you've matched all of them, right, and give them a good game. And there's absolutely no shame in losing to them. That's why I know that's where your confidence is coming from, because you see the team week in, week out, and you beat the dross in this team, right? The majority of it is dross, and your style of play beats dross because Bielsa is an attacking coach. He builds his teams to beat shit. You can't bully Leeds because they're out because they'll match your physical attributes, but they'll outplay you. Yeah. But obviously, when you come up against the better teams who can match your physicality, but they can outplay you as well, that's where you're going to come up, and that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I think when you come up against the higher echelons of the league, they're used to being pressed. Now, don't get me wrong. We've watched a lot of teams sit back against Liverpool, sit back against Man City. They're the two prime examples. But when you look, Liverpool or City will have games throughout the season where they know we'll be pressed here, and they're used to it. They're ready for it, especially when they have European experience, where they're experiencing that a bit more in Europe than they may do in the Premier League, and they're quite happy for it. You see Liverpool the other night against Atalanta, push up high against us, go ahead, and we'll pass you. We'll go through you in 3 passes, and then we'll have 3-on-3, 40 yards from your goal, and you're in serious trouble. Harley says there, Leeds will struggle against the top teams, but will probably do well against the bottom half teams, and I think that's all you can ask for from Leeds.
Yeah,
like you don't want to get over the top about Leeds. You want them to come in, be solid, and as me and Joe spoke about before a ball was kicked this season, we said, come in, get your job done this season, progress. Don't try to do it all in one go, or don't go for broke early on and be in a massive hole come March where you can't get out by April.
Do you know what?
Just one other thing. Kev O'Sullivan says he's a massive fan of Calvin Phillips. He says he would tip him to become a Liverpool player if Gino Wijnaldum leaves next summer. That's how high he rates him. Go ahead, Joe.
I was just saying though that Leeds will struggle against top teams. I mean, look how we played against City. I don't think we struggled. We struggled for 15 minutes.
Maybe struggle for results, I suppose.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Not struggle in terms of performing. You'll revel playing against these teams. This is your challenge. This is Bielsa's game. This is Bielsa what he lives for, to take on the top coaches in a tactical battle, technical versus technical. But what I meant was, there's no shame in losing the odd game to the top team.
No, of course. Yeah.
Joe,
Sorry,
you look
Leeds,
at
I'll back you.
Yeah.
you look at someone like City, Joe. Look, they like to dominate midfield, like the tippy-tappy pass around, and Leeds will have that energy in there anyway. And when you've got someone like Phillips Holden, who's really smart in what he does, whose positioning is brilliant for his age. In fairness to him, he makes you guys tick. I said it last year to Grizz a few times. In that midfield, in that base, he's like a quarterback. He can play that Henderson role, if you want to call it that at times, where he can play a 50-yard ball out of nowhere, or he can play nice short passes. He makes them tick. And against someone like City, he'll love that. Because they'll try and pass around him, and he's got the energy to go around, win balls and play it off. So, the City thing, we know they look to dominate. Liverpool's a bit different. We'll bypass midfield when we need to at times through the full-backs or with THIAGOs. It's a bit different with us.
Emma Kavanagh tells us this. I don't know if it's true, whatever it is. Emma, fair play to you. He says Bielsa's coach Diego Flores played in the Leinster Senior League for Kingswood. The Leinster Senior League, of course, being an amateur league in Dublin, for Kingswood in Tallaght, which is South Dublin. Nice trivia piece for you there. There you go, Joe. If you ever get an interview with Diego Flores, ask him about his time on the south side of Dublin. So there you go. Emma could be just completely winding us up. He's had a few cans and he said, I'm going to just have the crack with these lads. But we take it as gospel until it's proven otherwise. When you look at this weekend, though, and they're away to Palace and Grizz, Palace are just being Palace. Played 7, won 3, lost 3, drew 1. It's Roy Hodgson written all over it. But for me, they have a bit more attacking intent about them. They have got Zaha, they've got Townsend, they've got one of the AU brothers, and then they have is it Eze from who looks a talent as well. So he looks like he's gone with a bit more. He looks a bit more attacking this season, but it's still the same old Palace. That they'll win as many as they lose, and they'll throw a couple of draws in there. Grizz, is this one that Leeds could worry about? Despite being away from home, Palace could be very similar to what Leicester done and sit in and look to get, Townsend and Eze, or whoever it might be, and in particular Zaha, away on the break. Is this one that Leeds, if they approach the same way as Leicester, could find it a little bit tricky? This
will be the answer to your question when you ask Joe, will Bielsa change, or will he learn anything from it, or feel the need to change, I suppose. Palace will set up exactly like how Leicester set up. Hodgson is Hodgson, but he has, to be fair to him, he has tried to change things. He has gone more Zaha behind AU, or however you say his name, Andre Ayew.
They've got Batshuayi as well, haven't they now?
Batshuayi is
Batshuayi and him alternate through the middle, and then Zaha plays through the middle, and they brought in. He's gone a bit more expansive because he's playing Townsend and Eze on the flanks, which is unlike him. He's it's the old 4-4-2, but it's not like Mr. Hodgson. But this will be a test for Leicester. Let's not get it twisted. Leeds, I beg your pardon. Palace are a very wily old team. It's played in the Premier League for ages now, and Hodgson's managed their years. They know how to play against teams. They may not have the capabilities to do exactly what they want, but they know they have a way of playing, and they will stick to it as well. I think it'll be very similar to the Leicester setup. And let's see if Leeds. I don't know what your situation's like with injuries and any players coming back, Joe, because obviously you've got a good squad, but you haven't got a deep squad. So with these players that you mentioned out, I don't know, any coming back? Have you got any injuries?
No, I think Rafinha makes the bench. Rodrigo's still self-isolating. So we've just got Bamford's got to be clinical. That's the thing. He'll get a chance. He's got a clinical, because if they score first, then I'll be worried, genuinely.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same scenario. It's the same scenario as Leicester, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then with the likes of Zaha and this Eze is very handy, and Townsend, Crystal Palace have gone to Man United, Man City, got results. They're far better away from home than at home. So this could be, but it's at Palace, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's at Palace.
So that's my analysis out the window.
Well, it doesn't really matter. I don't think. I think Roy Hodgson sets up his team
home and away,
regardless where he plays. You know, he could be playing in his backyard and he still pretended to wait him home, and he'll just set it up. So that's just the way it is.
Well, if it's at Palace, then you know what? If it's at Palace, I think Leeds. I think Leeds have got a chance. That does change it for me.
Okay, Gar, you look at Leeds and you know, attacking wise, Bamford's had a good start to the season. The winger they have on loan from City, Harrison. They've a good couple. They've a few players that can chip in with goals, Leeds. And when you look at Palace's back line, you know it does include Nathaniel Klein now, who's playing right back for Palace. Yeah. You have, I don't know if Sacco's back, but you have Martin Kelly is around. There's loads.
Van Aanholt.
Yeah, when I look at Palace, although they've been solid enough at times, I think there's enough there for Leeds to get at them. I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, I know I said the Grazier. I look the way Helder Costa plays at times. He's really direct. He's really good on the ball. Yeah, I think this could be. You know, Leeds will set up well at the back. I think this Leeds get a win here. Do you know that? I don't rate Palace at the back. Klein, you know, he hasn't played football in a long time, lads. And he started recently as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, he started last weekend.
Yeah, he started, didn't he? I think Leeds might beat them.
Okay, well, we start with predictions then with you. So what score are you going for?
Yeah, I'm going 2-1 Leeds.
2-1 Leeds. Leave Joe to last. Grizz, what are you having?
I think this is going to be a good game, you know. If it's at, I thought it was at Leeds, but it's at Palace, so I'm going to go 2-2.
Okay. I don't know why I ask. I don't know why I just don't insert 2-2. I'm going to go 2-1 Leeds. I'm going to go 2-1 Leeds in this one. Joe, what are you having?
2-0. 2-0 Leeds.
2-0. Okay. Yeah. Plenty coming in there. Liam says 4-2 to Crystal Palace. Sulav says 2-0 easy win for Leeds. 2-1 Palace says Dan J. But Leeds to go in front. So that might be a way of doing a bet this weekend. Leeds 3-1 says Harley. And I want Leeds to do something. I have Bamford in my team.
Yeah, we did a bit of research on that. The Flores thing there, and it's true. He was over here learning English lessons and played a couple of games for Kingswood. One against Time and Bond, El Davos locals.
Okay, nice one. So it is true, and
there's pictures and all to prove it.
Brilliant. Okay, so there you go, Joe. A little bit of trivia you can throw around to your mates, and they won't have a fucking clue who you're talking about, but it might be impressive anyway. We move on. A couple of games again. I want to get quick predictions from you, Grizz. I'm going to start with you. I'm going to give you the 3 games in a row. I want to give me scores, and I'll move on to the lads. Okay. So West Brom v Spurs, Grizz. Prediction.
West Brom v Spurs. I'm going 2-0 Spurs.
Okay. Leicester v Wolves.
Leicester v Wolves. Cracking game. 1-1.
1-1. And Arsenal versus Villa.
1-1 again.
Okay, nice one. Joe, West Brom v Spurs. I can't get this fixture right at all. West Brom v Spurs, Joe.
2-0 Spurs.
Okay. Leicester Wolves.
0-0.
0-0. Okay.
Yeah, cancel each other out.
Arsenal v Villa.
2-0 Arsenal.
Okay. Gar, West Brom v Spurs.
2-0 Spurs.
Okay, a lot of 2-0s for Spurs. Leicester v Wolves.
2-2.
Okay. And Arsenal v Villa.
Arsenal beat Villa 3-1.
Okay. Loads coming in there. 2-2 Leicester Wolves says Flash Gordon. Liam has 4-1 to Spurs. Sulav has 3-1 to Arsenal. Liam is in there. Wolves 3-1. 6-0 Spurs says Avo. I'm going to go with Spurs to beat West Brom 4-1. I think Leicester edge Wolves out 2-1. And I think Arsenal beat Villa 3-1. I think there's goals there, and I have triple captained Son for the weekend, just to let people know. So keep your
Have
eye
you
out.
fucking played your triple captain already?
Yeah. Well, can you not do? Can you only do one a season?
I've told you the tactics, what to save, and you've ignored all my tips, and now you're going to finish bottom half.
It doesn't matter. But can you? Did he not give you another triple captain during the season sometime?
No.
Ah, well, listen, you can't get a better triple captain than Spurs against West Brom.
Oh, Gavin Doyle.
I think I'll do all right, lads. I think I'll do all right. I have used me. What did I use last week? Oh, me bench
You use
boost.
the subs bench,
bench boost. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Guys,
I know
there's going to be double weeks coming up where you get. Oh, I've got to explain to you. Sorry,
Christmas, Gav. Christmas. School
listen, I don't know what can you triple captain them on weeks that are count as double and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. That's the time. That's why
you see, you didn't explain all the rules to me, all right? And you can't be coming at me now going, oh, I can't believe you done that when you don't explain the rules to me. I clearly told you at the start of the season, I lose interest in this. I don't read rules.
I spent 2 nights explaining to you.
No, you didn't. You didn't. That was Oyed. You spent 2 nights talking to the God that you love. I don't know who he is.
Unbelievable.
Listen, I'll go down. I'll say it compared to St. Christopher. It'll be grand. Good Catholic like I am. Lads, we're going to finish out with City v Liverpool. It is the big game of the weekend for us, and I think overall in the Premier League weekend. And 3 of us are Liverpool fans here, so I'm going to try to split it up a little bit. So, Gar, I'm going to come to you first. We go into this joint top of the league now. Southampton have joined us on 16 points tonight. Man City have had a mixed start to the season. I think if they win, though, they'll be 2 points off us. If they win their game in hand, they'll be 2 points off us. If they beat us at the weekend and win their game in hand, I think they go ahead of us. So, although it's been an uninspiring start for Man City, I suppose, coupled with Liverpool apparently being in crisis and played 7-1-5, drew 1, lost 1, which is grand form for anybody. Is this a 6-pointer, guy? 7-8 games into the season, because people are making out that it is.
It's a bit early for that, isn't it?
Well, is it? Because I've heard, and the only reason I'm asking is because I've heard people say if Liverpool beat City this weekend, City won't recover from it. So that to me you're allowed to say 6-pointer.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, if you put it that way, I think we owe them as well. After what they did to us after we were on a bender for a couple of weeks. Yeah, when we came back from the lockdown. The centre half thing is, still up there. I think Reece Williams will start the weekend after another impressive performance the other night. I think we're not going to expect long balls into the air all day, so I don't see any. I see Reece Williams starting all day, just the way City play. Jesus will probably start up front.
Is he not injured?
So there's a bit of pain.
No, he's back.
No, he's back, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
I think he scored the other night from. Yeah, I think he scored the other night, did he? So City are gonna, I think we beat them, Gav. I think as you're right, they have stuttered a bit. They haven't been that, that City that, are breathtaking, and you're on the edge of your seat watching. Sterling hasn't started off great, missing a couple of sitters at times. Yeah, I think we beat them, Gav. I think the big thing for us is the fact that they hammered us. I think that'll be in the back of our minds, and if you want to make a statement, this is the weekend to do it.
It could be. If they draw with Liverpool this weekend and win, they're 2 points off Liverpool, and it's funny because I've looked at City this season and went, they're not the same team as they were last year, but at the same time, I'm giving Liverpool kind of credit as a Liverpool fan for grinding stuff out. Maybe City are going that way a little bit. I just think as much as fragile at times we can look at the back because of the changes that are there, I still think City are the same. So I don't think there's a lot between us. I think it'll come down to, I think it'll be a mental game more than anything else as the season goes on. Grizz, we're going into this one, and if we win this and we go into the break, we played 8-1-6, drew 1, lost 1. It's a fantastic start to the season, all things considered, everything that's gone on, from the short break in the summer, the fixtures we've had, because our fixture list has not been that kind, to be perfectly honest. The injuries we've had, and bringing in youngsters and trying to juggle different competitions. What's the outlook for Liverpool this weekend, Grizz? Because I know that me and you agree on not many things, but this thing we agree on. The Etihad, Old Trafford and Goodison, Liverpool go there and they're way too pragmatic, they're way too reactionary, and they sit off and watch what other teams can do rather than putting their own stamp on games when they go to these grounds. Is that the approach you think we'll see from Liverpool this weekend, or are you hoping that, no, he's just going to go out and go, listen, we've nothing to lose here, we have to just go at these and see what happens?
I honestly think that's the situation for us in terms of the second part of your statement, in terms of this is, for us, whatever happens, we go into this second or third international break? Whatever it is.
Second
third
season one,
yeah.
Third, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Third, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but they had one just before the league started, and then they had another one. So the second in season. Break.
Well, I think this is we go into this international break on top of City, regardless of the outcome on Sunday, and that is mentally huge for Liverpool Football Club.
Is it huge if City beat us, Grizz, and they have a game in hand and they can go above
absolutely. No, they can't.
Yes,
no,
they can.
they can, but that's not the point. The point is mentally for us to be there or thereabouts after the turbulence that we've had to endure. I think it'll be massive, and and it's the reason why I feel, especially the way we've kind of clicked into gear when it comes to attack. I really think we go there and attack them because they will be having sleepless nights about our forward line. We know Pep from the documentary, has had, sleepless nights over our forward line. You add Jota to the mix, and that's some potent strike force that he's got to worry about. I don't think we've got the personnel to go there and have a pragmatic approach, control the game. No Fabinho, no Virgil van Dijk, no Thiago. That's your three absolute spine of your team. That's not a joke, three that's missing. We've got an excellent team regardless, but I also feel Man City in the last few weeks have been churning out results and become very resolute in defense. So that's why I feel as though Jurgen Klopp can risk more in this game than he would normally because of the situation where we are, and just gamble and go for this. Because a win for us is absolutely huge, Gavin Doyle. I'm saying if we beat them Sunday and get an 8-point lead with a battered squad, and then the world knowing that after the international break, Matip is back, Fabinho is back, Thiago's back. The only person that will not be back is Ox long term, and VVD obviously that we know about. My God, the Premier League will be absolutely shitting and thinking, here we go again. Honestly, an 8-point gap over City. Forget your Southamptons and all the other pretenders, Leicester Cities or wherever, who are near the top. The team that we got to beat and stay ahead of to win the league is Man City. Still, regardless of what anyone says, they're running into a bit of decent form, Gav, especially defensively. They've got a nice partnership going with Diaz, who I've rated. Diaz and Laporte back. And then he's got Rodri just sitting in front of them. Kevin De Bruyne playing in his right position now. The only doubt or issues they've got at the moment is scoring. They've got, a couple of forward players in and out of form and in and out of injury as well. But this new resolute style that he's enforced on his team is interesting. I think we tried to go for the kill, Gav. I really do.
Is the resolute stuff affecting them going forward, though? Because I'm just looking through the results here now, right? So if you take away the Champions League stuff, they got a bye in the Champions League, the group they got, right? But they beat Wolves on the opening day of the season, or their opening day of the season, 3-1, right? They lose to Leicester 5-2, and then 1 goal scored against Leeds, 1 goal scored against Arsenal, 1 goal scored against West Ham, and 1 goal scored against Sheffield United. They're not conceding. They're not conceding, don't get me wrong. But does that not suit Liverpool, where City... I'd expect Pep to go at Liverpool because of what's happened at centre-back. But at the same time, does that open them up and put a real test to these centre-backs? Because I think Pep or somebody there has said, listen, we can't keep going forward and expecting to outscore players.
Well, the thing is,
we're conceding so much at the back. And it's
Gav,
changed.
I'm not going to be we can't be hypocrites now and talk about our defensive crisis and not talk about Man City's attacking crisis, and give them fair dues.
I know that.
They've got a lot of forwards missing. Jesus has been missing. Aguero's been missing.
But they'd still look. De Bruyne's
been missing.
But they'd still look at a front three of something like Mahrez, Sterling, and Ferran Torres.
But it's not as good. But it's not as good as De Bruyne, Jesus, and Aguero. You get my point? Of course.
I get that. So, I'm just saying. Maybe it's the fact that they've had players out, or is there a change in the way they're actually trying to play football and saying, do you know what? Let's protect this back line that's been absolutely hammered for the last probably year or so, and let's protect them. And let's even though we've a few players out, let's protect them and trust ourselves to nick a goal here and there with the likes of Foden, Sterling, Torres, Mahrez, Jesus, whoever it might be, Bernardo Silva, because there's still plenty of quality there. I'm just looking at it and I'm saying to myself, don't get me wrong, because if they were going 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, you'd be saying very resolute at the back and they're still banging in goals. But just there's a lot of games there that they've scored one goal in. I'm just wondering, have they slightly changed?
Possibly, but I think City fans would probably say that the signings of Ake and Diaz have been sort of more crucial for them, as opposed to sort of changing the player style, because Pep is very similar to Bielsa in terms of he doesn't change the way he sets up his teams and plays. I think it could be the personnel being better than what they had in those positions previously.
Hey, maybe so. Joe, there was a comment up on the screen. I've just lost it there because I put another one up. But it basically was saying, people making out that City and Liverpool are a lot less powerful than they were last season is a myth, and it's just a media narrative that they're trying to drum up around the likes of Leicester or whoever else they feel it will be between Liverpool and City for the foreseeable in the league. I don't know about that. I think the times we're in can throw up some mad stuff. But when you look at this one, Joe, like, as you're an outsider, you're a Leeds fan, you're going to watch this on Sunday and just sit back and relax and have a beer and go, I don't care who wins or loses. But what are you looking at in this one? Are you looking at a more resolute City, or you've seen Leeds play City and you think, well, if you drop Liverpool into that scenario, I think they could do damage? What way are you seeing this one?
Look, I think Liverpool are just starting to look special again. I mean, Jota's, he's class. I think he scored, I did some stuff earlier, 10 goals in 15 games for club and country, man. He's absolutely flying. He's been class. We haven't touched on it, we didn't do much on it, but I see Spurs as being more of a challenge, and that's just my opinion, to Liverpool than City. And I agree with what you were saying earlier, Gav. This is a huge game so early on,
Yeah.
And if Liverpool were to win, it's a massive shot in the arm. And look, there's a lot. It seems anyway. There's a lot of unrest at City. Just with this whole Pep debacle going on and no signing deal. I feel like I'm a broken record, but until he signs a deal, it's still going to be there. And I just think Liverpool just look great again, or are starting to. Let's not forget, it was only a couple of weeks ago that people were saying, "Oh, Virgil's gone. That's it." It's going to be tough. But they're just going from strength to strength, Is Matip not fit this weekend? Does he come straight back in? Is he out?
Matip is fit apparently, yeah, but it's still only Friday night. Anything could happen in the next 48 hours.
Change the lad.
If Matip is fit,
and then obviously, do you know what? I've got a quick. Go on, mate.
Go on. No, I was just going to say.
No, I was going to say, yeah.
Go on, Joe. Go on, Joe. Go on.
Right.
Go on. You're all right. Go on, Joe.
Who starts for yous, right? Because I wrote this down knowing I was coming on, right? You've got Firmino, 1 in 11, and I mentioned that Jota 10 goals in 15 games for club and country. I get what Firmino does, because it's similar to what Bamford does at time, or did do in the Championship. On a much higher level, I get that. But who would you rather have, I guess, just for you? Sorry to ask a question. Well, not sorry, I just want to know.
Well, firstly, I'll let them all answer this, but firstly, on the Matip thing, when you bring back a centre half, the likes of a Lovren or a Gomez or whoever it might be, or a young lad, and you're thinking, might take him a couple of games to get in. Matip frustrates me, everyone knows that, but the one thing I will say from him is when he comes back, he's growing. He's fine. He just plays football. He's fine. There doesn't seem to be a bed in the period where you go, it's going to take Matip 6 weeks. A bit like Fabinho when he got injured last season. You went, what happened to him? And it took him 6 to 8 weeks, and then he got back on it. Matip seems to come in okay. So I think if Matip is past fit, I think he will play. I think he's dying to get him back in there. The front three thing, it was my next question, so I'm going to bring it on to Gar and Grizz, and I'll go last. But Grizz, Joe's asked the question, and it's the question going around everywhere.
It's the question of the week, yeah.
Yeah. What are you doing, Grizz? I'll tell you what. The three of us will name a Liverpool team before we give predictions. So, Grizz, I'll let you go first.
Well, me being the ex-manager of El Nino, Barking District League Division 1,
Except when it was cold.
except when it's cold. I played Jota. I played Jota and I played Bobby. I play Genie and Henderson's holding as a double pivot, and then I just unleashed the front four on them. Bobby, people forget Bobby was a number 10. Bobby is a number 10 for Hoffenheim. That was what caught all the club's eyes, or our scouts' eyes. Him playing in a number 10 with drawn row. We've turned him into this false nine, or whatever you want to call it. There's no way you leave Jota out. We've done a couple of shows this week, and my opinion's not changed. You just don't leave Jota out of this team. He's absolutely on fire, and you make the most of that fire. You really go out and you try to just grab goals against this City team, and then maybe try to control it from there, because this City team hates coming back from behind. They haven't got the guts or the balls for it. We've said that in the past as well. But if they take the lead, they're a fantastic footballing side that can keep the ball away from you for ages and ages. So with that being said, that's how I would approach it. How Klopp's going to approach it is anyone's guess. We know that, that.
So what's your 11?
My 11 would be the back four that we're going to think it's going to be, with Matip coming in for the young lad. The midfield, my 11 would be Henderson and Gini, with Firmino behind the front three.
Okay,
that's what I would do.
I'm trying to think who City have and don't have. So we're probably looking at Ederson, Kyle Walker, Cancelo at left back. You're looking at Diaz and Laporte centre back. Midfield is going to be Rodri, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva maybe. And then you're looking at maybe Sterling, Mahrez and Jesus. So that's what you're looking at for Man City. Gar, what's your 11 and what way would you go?
I think Gray's touched on the Matip thing. I'd love to see Williams play, being honest with you, but if Matip is fully fit, I think he goes straight in, just for that fact that he can settle in whenever he does come back from injury. I think we know who the other three are straight away. Midfield, lads, I hate to say this, but I think, does he start Naby with Henderson and Gini in there?
That's what he will do.
Because he's well, I'm gonna try and go what he will do.
Okay.
I think he starts Bobby up front.
Yeah.
Practically because of the staunch defence he's come of him in the last couple of days in the few interviews he's done.
But it shouldn't be because of that. It shouldn't be because of that.
100% Grace, but we know what Klopp is like, and he as being pragmatic. I personally think he will put Firmino in that, because he does trust him a lot, and we know who the other two were. For me, Jota should start all day. Going back to the question that was asked, he's on fire. He gives us another dimension of speed and attack. He's both footed. He's got everything. I think we've seen that. Joe's touched on it. The guy is a talent. I've said it before in here. He had to do a lot of work at Wolves as regard positioning and team style stuff. At Liverpool, he just settles into that front three. He doesn't have all that work to do. He just has to press from the front. He played a lot wide with Wolves as well. I'd love to see Jota start, but just judging on Klopp's interviews, especially today, I think he starts Bobby up there.
Okay. Looking at that Man City side, I'd be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Milner starts. I'm being honest with you. I think what City will look for is they will look for their fullbacks to get push up, and they'll try make Salah and Mane go back the other way. Now that may work with Mane, because Mane loves walking in tandem with Robertson, whether it's defensively in the middle of the park or forward. Salah isn't, and this is where the key comes from. We need to put a midfield out there that is, A, Henderson's going to be deepest, and B, whoever's playing on that right-hand side of the tree does the job that Henderson does so well. And I go on about it, but it's so crucial. And when you have a Bernardo Silva drifting in there, and when you have a fullback that wants to get forward, Salah is going to cheat. He cheats every single week at the position he plays. So we need to, and I want to clarify that before people clip that and put it out there that Salah cheats every week. But what I'm saying is, it needs to be solid. You know, we can talk as much as we want about our attacking prowess and how good we are going forward, and if Matip is back, we're more solid, and Henderson's being great, Wijnaldum's being great. But we need to look at what they're doing as well. They're going to try get at Trent and Robertson, and the way they're going to try to do it is they're going to try triangles of Walker, De Bruyne and Sterling on one side, and on the other side, or Mahrez, and on the other side you will have Cancelo. You'll have, is it Cancelo is his name? I feel like I'm saying his name wrong.
Yeah, right, yeah, Cancelo, yeah.
You're going to have him, you're going to have Bernardo Silva, and you're going to have Sterling on that side, all right? And they're going to try attacking those areas and get in behind us in those areas. So we will need to be very, very robust in midfield. Alisson's in goal. Trent, I think Matip does start. Gomez, Robertson. I wouldn't be surprised if you've seen Henderson, Milner, Wijnaldum. And if he goes that way, I still think he goes Firmino, lads. I still think he does Firmino with Mane and Salah. And I think if it becomes a game where it's really high, intense football and we can show fitness that we usually show, I think Jota on 60 to 65 for Firmino, and I think he could change the game. And not only because we might just abandon this left Firmino look after Rodri thing and go, no, do you know what? You go right up top and play against these centre halves and let Rodri turn around and worry about you for the last 25. So it's going to be very, very interesting. I think it is a massive game. I don't know if it's a 6-pointer, but it's a massive game. I agree with Grizz. You go into even if you draw this one, you go into this going, City can't go near you with their game in hand, and they'll be trailing, and they don't do that well. They simply don't.
Gav, the last couple of times I've watched City, Silva's sat quite deep with Rodri in the last couple of games. Maybe with the slight change of style, as you've spoken about. Silva has sat very, very deep at times. Not his usual position, by the way, because we often see him drifting forward and into that old David Silva role, creating from that midfield position. So that'll be interesting to see on Sunday if he does sit that bit more, because the last 2-3 games
it could be a protection thing, yeah.
Yeah, he sat very, very deep because obviously Walker scores last weekend. I think he scored the goal. Yeah, he did score a goal from. So the fullbacks are talking. So maybe their role is to split left and right, like obviously our own midfielders do. But Silva has, Bernardo Silva has sat quite deep in the last couple of games. So might be interesting to watch that on Sunday as well.
Yeah, it could be a case of a 4-2-3-1 for them, and they're letting De Bruyne play centrally with the lads off either side. But we'll have to wait and see. We have to get some predictions, and we have to. Everybody remember Grizz's one, because it'll change by Sunday, and that's how it works. But Joe, what are you having on this?
2-1 Liverpool.
Okay, Grizz, what are you having?
2-2.
Fuck off. Are you serious?
Genuinely.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Right. Jeez, the splinters in your arse must be unbelievable. Gar, what are you having?
I'm going with Joe. 2-1 Liverpool.
Okay. I'm going 4-1 Liverpool.
Oh.
Yeah, I think Grizz said something a few minutes ago. If they go behind, they don't like it. They don't like it. I think the first goal, like Joe says, a lot of weeks for Leeds. Liverpool get the first one here, and Pep has steam coming out of his ears. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on. Major malfunction, code red, abort mission, get out of here. And I think it could go badly wrong. I think he could panic, and I think if Liverpool are in command of this, and Pep's losing the plot, Jota comes on even earlier than 65, because they'll sniff out blood and they go, well, hey, I'll lash him in there as well. And let's it'd be like someone just going up and cutting all the wires on a fuse board and going, let's see what sparks fly here. I think it could. So I'm going, Zed has 3-0 to Liverpool. Sulav has 2-1 Liverpool. Zed says he reckons a clean sheet. Matt Sweeney says 4-1 Liverpool for him also. Me and Matt are obviously on the same cans. It's been a brilliant show. I love Friday nights. Talking about the Premier League, because there's loads of teams in there that genuinely do interest me. This week has been a brilliant week for us, I have to be honest with you. We've had loads of shows on, more than we've had in most weeks. We've had pre-game, post-game. We've had the forum, we've had the Fatback 4, we've had the midweek fix. And of course last night, the debut of Carnage, which was off the charts good. Like I don't even like telling him how proud I am of him for that last night, but I have to. But it was absolutely, it was no problem, son. Like you can have a lend of me car for the weekend. It was a sensational show.
Sorry, Gav, to disturb you. I've just got a text from a Chelsea mate who coaches at my club. This is quality. Tell us when the next one is on. Subscribed. So there you go, lads. Well done.
There you go. A live subscription's going on. But listen, as I've said, subscribe. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Share it around with your friends. You know, there's stuff there. Like Joe comes on every Friday and talks about all the Premier League stuff. Loves it. And if you subscribe, I don't think you will unsubscribe because there's loads of stuff there for loads of different people. But the show last night was brilliant. I want to thank Grizz for doing it. I am first of all, and of course Ransom Bants and KG, who were excellent.
Leeds is KG.
Yeah, he is. He's a really, really good fella. Talks a lot of sense. And to be honest with you, the feedback has been amazing for it. The amount of people that love it, and they love the fact that we're giving them content, but we've added this as well. They're like, yeah, this is absolutely amazing. So I just want to, you know, I didn't get a chance to say it last night because I wasn't on the show, but it was absolutely phenomenal from Grizz and the lads last night. And hopefully we'll have another one of them for you soon. With regards to this weekend, we're taking tomorrow off, if that's all right with you. We're going to have a pre-match show with Keith at 3:30 on Sunday. We will follow that up with the post-match show will be the Fatback 4 at 10 o'clock on Sunday night. And then, of course, we're back into everything again next week. There's been a couple of changes around the LFC Daytrippers. What we're doing, what we're looking to do going forward. We will be talking to you about that on Sunday in a little bit more detail. But don't worry, all the content that you're getting is going to stay there exactly as it is. And you're probably going to get a little bit more on top. So before we go, Joe, what are you up to for the weekend with All Leeds TV?
We've got a watch along tomorrow, 2:30. Join us for that, and then it'll be post match. And then on Monday, we do a bit of a review of the game week just gone. So yeah, check it out. All Leeds TV.
Good stuff. And at Wayman Joe on Twitter as well. Yeah. Grizz, are you doing anything the weekend other than watching Liverpool? Grizz is frozen. Look at him.
Oh, sorry. No. I couldn't.
Were you asleep?
He's blinking out.
I was reminiscing. of El Nino.
Oh, right. Okay. I was going to say,
sorry.
Do you get the odd call where they say you wouldn't come in and do a job for us the weekend, would you?
Oh yeah. My phone's been blinging ever since, mate.
Yeah, no worries. And listen, if we can put you back on that amateur football map if you need. Maybe put the trippers on the jerseys. And we get a few Hardens for the ground, even though it's Hackney Marshes, but we just put a few Hardens around anyway and call it our own.
I think there's flats over there now. There's not more.
We'll play in the flats.
I think he's sold out.
I think they have. It was right behind Leighton Orient. If anybody wants to know where Hackney Marshes were, they were right behind Leighton Orient.
Brisbane Road. Yeah. Grizz sold the land. It wasn't even his own. He just sold the land to developers.
Yeah, my uncle bought it, mate.
And rolled off into the sunset with all the money. Unbelievable. No, listen, we have to go. Gar, it's been great. We'll talk to you very soon.
Thanks, lads.
Good stuff, Grizz. It's been an absolute pleasure again. Talk to you in a bit. Still not answering me, look.
Yeah, no, lovely. Thank you. Brilliant show as usual. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Gar. Thank you, Gav.
The attention span is just
Gav,
horrendous.
I WhatsApped you. I need to go to the toilet.
Oh, did you? I didn't see it. Okay. Joe, do you want to talk really slowly while you're saying goodbye to hang on to Grizz for a few more seconds?
And we got the free goal scorers to do it.
Yes, we do. He's gone. He's amazing. Right, the 3 goal scorers. Who are we having for the weekend, lads? Gar, I'll go with you first.
I did mine earlier, so I went with Werner, Vardy, and Aubameyang.
Okay, Joe.
Werner, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and Bamford.
Okay, I'm going to have Son off Spurs. I'm going to have Lacazette for Arsenal. And I'm going to have Marcus Rashford for Manchester United. That's the 3 I will have. Let me see. Michael Ramsey is in. Quick super chat before we go. Hope you know now that LFC haven't beaten them at City since 2016. That's absolutely correct. And that just comes on from my point that we go pragmatically to the Etihad, Goodison and Old Trafford. And it looked like we changed that a bit at Everton earlier on in the season. What went on in that game, I suppose, hampered what we were trying to do. But listen, we'll see on Sunday, won't we, Michael? And hopefully Liverpool come out with 3 points, because if they do, the league's over. They might as well just give it to us now. Start handing medals out at Christmas and all. It'll be the absolute crack. But listen, someone's clipping that as well. But we don't give a shit. We're out of here. That's been the Friday forecast. As I said, please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, anyone you meet when you go. And this is the big one. If you're going down to do a big shop at the weekend, a lot of people do it on a Saturday. If you're just wandering or in the queue, just say to people, would you not subscribe? And it's a good conversation starter. So they'll think you're a bit weird, but listen, that's all part of the game. That's been the Friday forecast. Over and out.